Hey guys, I'm back here again for our video, and in this video I'm going to be showing off all of my band and music t-shirts. I have a lot of these, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. This is probably going to be a two-part video because like I said, I've just got a lot. I tried to organize them, and in this video I'm just showing off my favorite band t-shirts. Now I have a lot of favorite bands, but these are just the bands that that are my top favorite ones. And this is just my way of just splitting them up, because if I tried to show off every single shirt that I own in one video and tried to pile them up, all of them up on my bed, it would just be, so much. So I'm just going to go ahead and just show off my favorite bands, and then move on. And when part two, I'll show off even more. This is going to be all classic rock, rock and roll, and heavy metal bands. So first, I'm going to go ahead and get started off with this shirt. This is a shirt for a band called Madhouse, which was a band that my dad was in. It was pretty short. He was only in it for a short time. They did play one show, and they basically just played classic rock and roll stuff. Unfortunately, the lead singer kind of ruined that band for him. Because they rehearsed a lot. My dad had his drums set up in our living room, and they would come over and they would rehearse, which was very, very cool because my dad tried his best to get into a band. He really enjoyed playing drums, but he really wanted to play in an actual band, and he was really hoping that this would go somewhere. He would actually start playing like every weekend or every other weekend, something like that, and just go and just play classic rock, southern rock, and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it just never really worked out. But yeah, like I said, the band was called Madhouse. Alright, now I'm going to show off all the shirts from my all-time favorite band, Guns N' Roses. I've loved Guns N' Roses ever since I was very, very young, about 2-3 years old, and I just have a lot of their shirts. So we have this one right here, which has the Use Your Illusion album cover image. I really like this. I really like the the brown and the red, and it says Guns N' Roses right there. Up next, we just have a classic Guns N' Roses, just a classic logo right there. Then we have the Appetite for Destruction t-shirt right here. It says Guns N' Roses, and of course it has the the images from the original Appetite for Destruction cover. The band cover that was available on the inside or the inner sleeve of the album. But it has the robot right there, and then of course the big monster right there on the front, and then on the back. It's meant to look like a classic Guns N' Roses, shirt from back during the Appetite for Destruction days. It says Guns N' Roses was here, and it has all the tour dates from Appetite for Destruction, or whatever leg of the tour this was from. I'm not really sure. This is just a reprint. I don't have any like original shirts from that time, but very, very cool. And then we have the first Guns N' Roses shirt I actually ever got. I got this at either Hot Topic or Spencer's Gifts. I'm not really sure, but it's just got skull right here. Skeleton holding the two guns, and you got the roses, Guns N' Roses, Los Angeles. And then on the back, it just says GNR, Guns N' Roses. Moving on, then we have this shirt that just has the Appetite for Destruction front cover right here, the classic, iconic Appetite for Destruction cross with the the band members' face, the band members' skull faces. It says Guns N' Roses. Pretty cool. And we have this shirt right here with this Guns N' Roses logo, which I've always liked. Then I got a couple of Slash t-shirts. I have this one right here, which is pretty faded. This is one of the oldest shirts that I have, but it's just got, this image of Slash with the skull face, and then it says Slash right up there. And then I have this shirt, which I really like, just has two images of Slash playing live, or, just cool. Like, you got one image of him right here playing guitar. Try to fold it out a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. So you got him right there playing the guitar, and then you got another image of him right here. And all around it, you can kind of see it kind of looks like like a snake pattern almost, as you can see right there. And it says slash right there, so pretty cool. Moving on to one of my other favorite metal bands, Metallica. Metallica was the first true heavy metal band that I heard. And just like a lot of other people, I know that a lot of people were introduced to Metallica, or introduced to heavy metal music through Metallica, because they were, or they still are, probably the most popular heavy metal band as far as being played on the radio. Like, I remember when I was very young, hearing Enter Sandman for the first time, and just, I remember thinking it just sounded so dark, and I remember thinking that it sounded like it belonged in a horror movie, like it should have been a song written for a horror movie. And this was back when I was, I listened to a lot of classic rock and stuff, and Metallica was the first like really heavy band that I got into, as far as heavy metal goes. But this is the Injustice for All classic T-shirt, it's a classic album right here, and then we have Ride the Lightning, which is one of my favorite classic Metallica songs. Very, very cool. And in the back, just says Ride the Lightning. Moving on to Rush, another one of my all-time favorite bands. Right here we have this just the Moving Pictures cover. I absolutely love this shirt right here, this classic image of Moving Pictures. Rush is one of my all-time favorite bands, or one of my dad's favorite bands as well. I was able to see them twice, and I have a couple of shirts. I have one shirt from the actual tour I saw them on, which I'll be showing in a minute. But yeah, Moving Pictures, one of the greatest albums of all time. And I forget if there's, can't remember if there's something on the back or not. No, the back is just plain. Up next we have the Permanent Waves cover, which is pretty cool. It says Rush, Permanent Waves, and you got the classic, image of the girl right there. Now this one is pretty cool. This actually came with the Best Buy exclusive release of the Time Machine Tour Live in Cleveland DVD, and this was a bonus T-shirt that came in the Best Buy exclusive set. The tour that we saw them on was the Time Machine Tour, and I also got a Time Machine Tour T-shirt, which I'm going to show after this one. But when the band played, Getty was playing with had a shirt that just said Rash on it, and it was kind of a joke. If you've seen Rush live during that tour, then you know what Rash is. It's kind of like a joke band, but sort of a parody of Rush and their history. And this came in the Best Buy exclusive release of the DVD. And then here is the actual Time Machine Tour T-shirt, which I actually love. We saw them in Greensboro, and yeah, very, very cool. It just says Rush right here, and it has the the clock right there. It says Time Machine Tour 2011, and then on the back it has the tour dates. Very, very cool. Being able to see Moving Pictures played in its entirety is an experience I will always remember. Like I said, one of the greatest sounds of all time, and just being able to hear that entire album played in its entirety is amazing. And right here, Greensboro, North Carolina. This is where we saw them at. Moving on. Now up next is one of my all-time favorite metal bands, and that is Avenged Sevenfold. My cousin got me into them. He was a fan of them. Of course, like a lot of other people, I was introduced to them through Guitar Hero with Beast and the Harlot, but my cousin Spencer got me into like their older stuff, like Waking the Fallen, their older albums, and I enjoy all their albums. I think that they're one of the most diverse bands. As far as they can go from something like Unholy Confessions Chapter 4, and then they can go and play like really emotional songs, and they're just one of my favorite bands. And I love how they change their music. I love how that you always know when you're listening to an Avenged Sevenfold song, but at the same time, I love how they can change their music. They can go from heavy metal to a classic rock sound into just they're just very, very diverse. And yeah, one of my all-time favorite bands. Now up next is actually the first event. Well, hold on one sec. There might be something on the back of this. No, never mind. I know one of them has something on the back of them. Now this was actually the first Avenged Sevenfold shirt I ever got, and it just has like the bat, you know, the bat wings right there all around, and it says Avenged Sevenfold right there. And I just realized the S is missing from Sevenfold. Huh. Kind of like how it's just kind of off. It just says Evanfold. Thought it was kind of funny. I never noticed that before. Then we have this one right here. So I really love this one. You know, you got the bat, you know, hanging upside down, and you got roses and stuff like that. It says A7X, Avenged Sevenfold. And I think this one has something on the back. Nope. Actually, it's this next one. And then this one right here, which is the Nightmare cover, or a version of the Nightmare cover. It says Avenged Sevenfold right there. Absolutely love this shirt. And on down it says Forever. You know, rest in peace to Jimmy the Rev Sullivan. And then there's a little girl with a teddy bear. Absolutely love this shirt. And then on the back, A7X Nightmare. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite bands, and I was able to see them live. I saw them last year at Carolina Rebellion, which I do have a t-shirt for that, but I'm going to show that in the next part. There we go. Up next, one of my favorite classic rock and roll bands, Van Halen. Like that one, got the girl right there, Van Halen, big VH. You know, the classic. Then we have Nirvana. Big fan of Nirvana, and you know, I really look up to Kurt Cobain. I really relate a lot to how he felt about life and just how he felt about school and just everything like that. But this is the classic Nirvana logo right here. Then we have one of my favorite shirts. This blue In Utero t-shirt. Then we have this one shirt that is based on it's a drawing that is actually in his journals. It says Kurt Cobain, and then, you know, it says left-handed, and it just has a sketch of his guitar, which, like I said, is in his journals. I have his journals. I have a copy of his journals, when that was published. But yeah, pretty cool. Next up, we have this one right here. It just says Kurt Cobain, and then, you know, this guitar case. Pretty cool. And this is one of my favorite shirts right here. Just this great shot of Kurt playing, you know, after he had stage dived and people were holding him up. It says Kurt Cobain right there. And, you know, then you have him, you know, when he stage dived into the audience. And he's still playing. Then we have this Nirvana shirt right here of just the three. You know, Dave, Kurt, and Chris. Nirvana. Moving on, got a couple of Him t-shirts. Big fan of Him. I wish I was able to see them live at least once before they did their farewell tour. I know they were coming close to here, and I was hoping I'd be able to see them last year, but unfortunately never happened. But this is just a classic, just hologram logo shirt right here. Then we have this Venus Doom t-shirt. Very, very good. Really love Venus Doom. You got all the different heartograms, and there's a skull. It says Venus Doom. Very cool. And then we have this shirt, which is one of my older shirts right here. It says Him, and you have hands coming down and the heartogram, and then just a great design all around. And in the back, very cool. The last couple I want to show are from the band Disturbed, one of my favorite metal bands. Here's the cover for Asylum, I believe. Yes. Halen. Nothing on the back. And then I have this one right here. Another Disturbed shirt. There we go. Very, very cool. Alright. And that is it for part 1, guys. Part 2 will follow. I know I kind of went through this kind of fast, but like I said, I just have a lot of different shirts that I want to go in and get through. And part 2, I have a lot more, classic rock, but I also have some heavy metal bands as well. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think about these bands. Do you like any of these bands? And let me know if you have a big, big band t-shirt collection as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in part 2.